How's it going? How's it going? Woo, man, it is hot out here. Dang. You guys, out here in Los Angeles, there's a part of LA. It's the San Fernando Valley, and it's really hot out here. During the summer, it gets really hot out here. Anyways, how's it going, everyone? So, I titled this "The New Mexican President." What are my thoughts on this whole thing? I hear two sides. One is like all these people are excited about her becoming president, the the the, the first female president of Mexico. Um, they're saying, oh, she's she's with the former the ex president's AMLO, like kind of like in that party. I heard something else about Morena or something like that. But she was part of the the ex president's Obrador's she was like an environmentalist. She's a PhD. They say she's a smart woman and this and that. Um, so people are excited about her. The only pro that I kind of saw with her is that she says she's hold on, it's really loud here. They said that she's going to continue with Mexico's stance against the against the Palestinian genocide. That Obrador took a stand and sided with South Africa to oppose the Palestinian genocide conducted by Zionist Israel. So she's going to continue Mexico's opposition to the genocide, and she's Jewish. I actually looked into her. She has all her lineage is pretty much Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jewish. Um, as you guys know, there's a lot of Sephardic Jews in Latin America because a lot of the Spaniards, when they colonized, um, there was a lot of Spanish Jews that came to Latin America. So I'm not surprised. You know, I'm in Mexico City. I went. There's a city called Polanco where there's a bunch of rich people, and a lot of them are Jews over there. So, but yeah, she comes from a privileged class, obviously getting her PhD and coming from not coming from a poor community, that's for sure. And her husband is a banker. Uh, she marries Jewish people. She doesn't marry Mexicans. Um, so that's little facts about her right there. Some people say that they're claiming she has some Mexican in her. That's not true. Actually, her parents are Jewish, and her grandparents. She's full Jewish. She doesn't have any Mexican indigenous in her at all. Um, so those are little facts about her and a little bit of the pros. Here's my these guys are noisy here. Here's my cons, my criticism of her. Some of the criticisms I've seen, even coming from brown women, Chicanas. One of them is that why isn't the first president of Mexico an indigenous woman? That's a good one. That's a good one. I say the same thing. I agree with that. Why does it have to be a Jewish woman, a foreigner? You know, Mexico has been held hostage to European foreigners for a very long time since colonialism. And it's like, why isn't there the first woman of Mexico president is an indigenous woman? Why not? You know? And then another criticism is, oh, they use this gender politics, right? As though women are going to solve everything, right? Well, my criticism, as you guys know, I'm against feminism, or at least like I do believe in women having, rights, but I'm against the male bashing type feminism, the feminism that attacks men's masculinity, tries to undermine men. I'm against that kind of feminism. I don't put women on a pedestal and worship them like some of these beta males do out here. But my criticism is gender politics. I throw it out the window because you got some corrupt women out here in office. Look at Hillary Clinton, for example. Very corrupt. She's a warmonger, very corrupt. You got people like Margaret Thatcher, who supported, the racist South African apartheid. You had women who were part of the Klan. You even have Zionist women work in the Israeli military, making TikTok videos and trying to make they're trying to make sexy TikTok videos where they're posing by the tanks and everything, but yet they're over there massacring indigenous women and children in Palestine. So I don't fall for this whole gender politics, nor do I fall for this LGBTQ type stuff where, like, they somebody made a joke. I think it was Jimmy Dore or something like that. Like, it's like it's like a bomber and everything. It's like, okay, it's bad when it's like a Republican airplane bombing, certain countries, but then when if it has the LGBTQ flag on it, the bomber, it's okay. This is the stupid gender politics and non-binary politics that I'm very critical of. So, but here's the thing. The thing is that I could care less is whether it's a male or female. Is this person going to be? Is this person going to be for the people or not? Is this person going to be corrupt or not? And I'm actually more of an anarchist than anything, a Chicano anarchist. So I don't believe in statism, and all forms of statism is corrupt. I don't care how nice you have a person there and how so-called progressive they are. They're still a bunch of statists. They're still corrupt. They're all about power and authority and control, and they don't really help out the people, even when they claim they're revolutionary and all that stuff. So let me actually back up here because I want to talk a little bit more before I end this video. It is hot out here. So before I end this, so my criticism is that, okay, why not an indigenous woman? Why does it have to be a Jewish woman? What a coincidence. We have this whole chaos with Israel and, committing genocide on the Palestinians. And all of a sudden we have this Jewish woman popping up as a Mexican president. What's up with all this? It just shows you that Jews have power throughout the world. If you look, and this is not anti-Semitic, because people already accuse you right away, throw the stupid anti-Semitism at you, and just because you critique them and all that. But a lot of people who are in power in Hollywood, Congress, politics and banking and all that, a lot of them are of Jewish descent. Let's be straight up. And there's so small of a population, and yet they have their position in they're in high positions of power. So you got to question a lot of that. Um, and also there's a Chicana that was criticizing this new Mexican president, this and saying that under her administration, she claims she's an environmentalist, but she didn't do shit for the environment. Actually, matter of fact, there was more corporations destroying the environment, and a lot of environmental activists were being assassinated. So she wasn't too much of a, she didn't hardly do shit under her environmentalist status and stuff like that. So, and then another criticism is they say they might that her party is connected to the cartels. So I don't know how true that is, but I don't know. And then there's a lot of conspiracies that there's a lot of people who were running as president in Mexico who were getting assassinated, and so, but she didn't. Somehow she ended up becoming a president. So I don't know. This is crazy, but um, so here's the thing: is that you know, am I for her? No, I'm not really for her. Actually, I'm not. I'm not for her. I don't care if she's the first female president. You know, and also another thing, they're claiming she's supposedly a socialist or communist or progressive. I don't know where exactly she is. Um, Supposedly her parents or grandparents are socialists, communists, or something like that. So here's the thing, though. There's a lot of Bolsheviks who became Zionists. So, and the whole Bolshevik revolution was, started by a lot of Jews, and a lot of them became Zionists. So I'm not into so much of this socialist communism as well. Um, Karl Marx was a Jew as well, but um, capitalism and communism, socialism, they're all statism. As an anarchist, I don't believe in any of those statist politics there. Also, she claims she's supposedly progressive, revolutionary, supposedly, but yet she's married to a banker. So she's married to a banker, which is a contradiction. Why are you gonna be married to a corporatist? Exploiting, the lower wage people. Hold on. And then, you know, why is she married to a banker? Bankers are known to be corrupt. So so that's a big contradiction right there. So we'll wait and see what her policies are and what her actions are and all that, what she does. Um, but me as a Chicano, I don't live in Mexico, so um, it's my I guess my you got to pick your battles, right? And living in the United States, if you live in the United States, your battles are with this government here, this white supremacist colonial Zionist government. And we see that Biden and Trump are corrupt. These two options are corrupt. So um, obviously, but what goes on in Mexico is, that's the people living in Mexico have to deal with that. I think I heard on a podcast some indigenous guys, sometimes I don't say no names, but saying that, when other foreigners and Europeans come to Mexico, they're Mexican. I don't agree with that. You know, so according to him, this Jewish president is Mexican. I don't agree with that. You know, it's like you're okay with Europeans taking up another identity. It's like some of those I see some of those Chicanos out there saying, "Oh, if a white person grew up in the Chicano community, he's Chicano," or a white woman grows up with Chicanos and Chicanas, she's Chicana. No, I don't agree with that. You know, to me, what constitute a Mexican, a Chicano, you gotta have that indigenous blood in you. Okay, that's part of your identity. If you're European, you're descendants of European colonizers. It don't matter what part of Europe you come from. And if you're Jewish too, Jewish European, Sephardic, Ashkenazi, you're still a colonizer. This is not your land. This is all indigenous land here, right? So to me, she's not Mexican. She's a colonizer. There's a lot of Jewish colonizer history you guys don't know about. All you hear about is the white man, right? But you don't hear about the Jewish colonizer history as well. They set up their synagogues. A lot of them in the Americas. They were selling slaves, both indigenous and blacks. A lot of them were called Maranos. They were converts. They converted to Catholicism, but they were crypto Jews, and but they were doing the same thing as the white man's, you know, committing genocide, taking land, and they became very prosperous off their business. They became powerful, rich merchants off stolen land and resources of the indigenous people. So there's a lot of deep history when it comes to Jewish colonizers. Um, there's a lot of that. So just because someone's Jewish, I don't see them as an ally, right? And I'm not saying all Jews are bad, right? There's some just like I don't say all white people are evil and bad, right? I used to be like that, right? But the way I am is like let's be truthful and stuff like that. And admit that hey, there are corrupt people who are of Jewish descent, and there's usually Zionists, right? Or Talmudists. People say it's not about Jewish religion and all that, it's about Zionism. No, I don't agree with that. A lot of Zionism is rooted in Talmudism, which is not the Bible. Talmudism they it's one of their sacred texts where they teach a lot of these religious Jews to act savagely and towards Gentiles or non-Jews and everything. So that Talmud is evil, and Zionism has its roots in Talmudism. And so it's not just a political philosophy. Zionism is a religious philosophy coming from the Talmud, not the Bible, because the Bible actually teaches to act accordingly, differently than what the Talmud instructs. The Bible tells you, now if you're following the Old Testament, there's actually in the Old Testament, it does mention to treat foreigners, with hospitality and stuff like that. A lot of these Jews don't even follow the Old Testament. They follow the Talmud. That's why they're corrupt. They follow the Kabbalah. That's why they're corrupt. They don't actually follow the real Old Testament. And then the New Testament, oh, it just revolutionizes everything. It when Jesus came, he just brought down like a lot. He destroyed a lot of this corruption and all that, and offered. He pretty much taught to have love and compassion and walk in peace and truth and wisdom, all that stuff. So and with everybody, you know. So that's why I don't say all Jews are the same, right? But I will say a lot of them are Zionists and Talmudists. They think they're the chosen people, and they think I'm a Gentile and I'm Goyim, right? And they'll mistreat you, right? If you're considered a Goyim, right? But I'm not gonna say all white people are evil either. Like I used to believe. I was influenced by, the Afrocentric community, the Nation of Islam and all that. All the white man's the devil and this and that. And I used to believe all that, and then you study the history and you see how the white man, colonized and murdered and raped and did all these atrocities. Yeah, that was devilish, right? But I'm not gonna say all white people are evil. There's some good white people who are, you know, doing their best to be righteous and just and stuff like that and peaceful. But there's a lot of them who don't want to give up the resources, the land. They don't want to, they even the ones that claim they're liberal and revolutionary, and they're not really. It's all talk, right, and no action, right? So you see that a lot of the poor, exploited communities are people of color, and the rich communities are usually white people and Jews. That's what it is, man. Straight up. Well, anyways, my criticism of this Mexican, well, actually a Jewish woman who's a Mexican president, because she's not even Mexican in my point of view. And just because she's a woman doesn't mean shit. She could be very corrupt. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But so I the way I am is, I wish there was actually a female indigenous president with a good head on her shoulder, not corrupt, right? But that didn't happen, right? And also, but then I'm very critical about statism and Mexican nationalism and stuff like that. Um, Nationalism, government, and all that, it's all corrupt and everything. So, anyways, so my critique again is, I could care less that she's a female. It don't matter what gender you are. Are you corrupt? Are you an imperialist? Are you a Zionist, right? Are you a statist? Are you, stuff like that, right? So gender politics, I could care less about all that, right? Another thing is, she's not indigenous. She's Jewish, right? Why not a first president be an indigenous woman? Okay, her environmentalism was pretty weak, right? And I don't buy into a lot of this environmentalist agendas, this global warming stuff. There is truth that industrialism does cause, it does ruin the environment, but then they're using this environmentalist movement to push their this global agenda, where they want to get rid of, they want to get rid of meat. They want you to take the jab. They want to control you in smart cities and this and that. There's actually Michael Moore exposed the environmentalist movement as Planet of the, Planet of the Humans or something like that, and it exposes the so-called green movement and everything. How they claim they're revolutionary and this and that, and all about money. They make some of these guys in the oil and coal industry are also in the green movement as well, making cash off of that. So there's actually a lady from India, Dr. Shiva. She wait, was it Dr. Shiva? No, I don't know if she's a doctor, but I know it's Shiva. Her name is Shiva. But she's an environmentalist. She exposes the green movement in that documentary also too, and says that they're chopping down trees and all kinds of, like, the forests and all that stuff, and so they're not really doing much for the environment. And then there's that whole documentary talks about the whole solar panels, how it's destroying the environment here and there and all that. So that's interesting, So you gotta be critical of this whole environmentalist movement. But at the opposite end, a lot of Republicans and conservatives are against the environmentalist movement because they're for their coal mining industries and they want to get rich off of that. So you got these two dichotomies that are lying to us. You got the left, the liberal fake environmentalists who are really corporatists and still destroying the earth and contaminating it, making cash off of it, right? And pushing their agenda, their globalist agenda. And then you got the opposite, who are usually conservative Republicans who are corporatists and they want to maintain, all their corrupt oil and coal industry. Although we do need some of those resources, but I do believe industrialization is having a bad effect on the environment, you know. Something has to be done, but in a good, correct way, you know, not this phony environmentalist movement out here. So the criticism of this lady is she a phony environmentalist? You know, is she actually doing anything? You know, when it comes to environmentalism, and from my what I saw of her, a criticism of her is that she hasn't done much, and there was actually more corporations doing all kinds of environmental disasters in Mexico under her leadership, and a lot of environmentalists being assassinated. So I'm like, oh, okay, this lady might be a little phony, just a little puppet, who knows what. And then she's supposedly progressive and revolutionary and anti-capitalist because she comes from a socialist communist background, right? But yet she's married to a banker. What's up with that? She's married to a Jewish banker. So that to me is problematic. Anyways, well, I'm gonna let you guys go. This is the Conscious Chicano, and remember, this is not anti-Semitism, all right? I'm just critiquing her. I showed the pros, the cons to it, but I lean more towards the cons, all right? Anyways, I gotta get going. You guys have a good day. This is the Conscious Chicano, and I'm out.